I don't know if I'd be happy or not. I can't make my mind up, really. But we've got two people here. I suspect will have a different view of what decision would make them happy. So I'm joined now by the Fox Nation host, Tomi Lahren, and the author and self-proclaimed Moe Marxist, Grace Blakeley. Welcome to both of you. Grace, let me start with you. Would it make you happy if Donald Trump was to run again in 2024?
Well, regardless of whether or not it would make me happy, it seems as though that's what he's gearing up to do. My question is, what is he going to run on? Last time, he managed to build some vaguely popular support by promising to drain the swamp, right? He then was in office. He dished out millions to big corporations in his tax cuts. He deregulated the finance sector, which had caused the financial crisis that had left so many Americans in poverty and out of their homes. Who is going to believe this? The only option he has is to do what he did in your interview, is to just step up the culture wars, try and convince people that their material interests don't matter, that inflation, that what's going on with the economy with skyrocketing corporate profits and billionaire profits while people go starving, that doesn't matter, that all that matters is, this culture war, silliness around trans bathrooms and sports and all these different sorts of things that are aimed to distract us from the fact that the people running these countries do not care about the vast majority of their citizens.
OK, I think we'll take that as an unhappy camper if Trump was to run again. Tomi Lahren, I presume you would be a little happier. You're a big Trump fan, I know.
Well, listen, what we just heard there was gaslighting 101. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. When you talk about how well our country did under the Trump administration and how poorly it's doing now, I mean, you don't have to talk about culture wars. You don't have to talk about right versus left. You just look at the statistics and you look how well our country was performing under President Trump. I'll tell you this. I'm not sure if he's going to run. My personal feelings of this is that it should be Ron DeSantis. I think that if you have a Ron DeSantis, then you don't have to listen to the drivel of the January 6th and the big personality of Donald Trump. We can get right back to business having an America First candidate like Donald Trump. But I'll tell you this, my rescue chihuahua would be a better choice than what we have in office right now and anybody that sits on that Democrat bench. So whether it's Ron DeSantis
Tomi,
or Donald Trump, I'm going to be tickled pink.
Right. I mean, look, for those who don't know Ron DeSantis, he's the governor of Florida. He's proving very popular. He's involved in what Grace would categorise as a culture war at the moment with Disney. I would argue Disney started that war themselves. But Grace, you're obviously horrified by the thought of Trump, or even Trump light, as some people think DeSantis is. But here's the truth. What Tomi just said about Joe Biden is indisputable. His presidency is turning into a complete disaster. And you, on the left, surely have to accept, unless he gets his act together, whoever wins the Republican nomination is highly likely to win the national
because
election.
the system is broken. The money in American politics is corrupting the entire system. Look at this Senator, Joe Manchin, right, that has stood in the way of so much progressive legislation being passed. He is literally in the pockets of the big fossil fuel companies. And you can say this, but, lobbying in the Capitol is this horrendous thing that distorts American politics and prevents democratic accountability.
That doesn't change the fact.
That was why Trump did so well, but he didn't do anything about it.
But he did
nothing about it.
Right, but the Democrats have to find someone that can win an election. And whether it's Trump or DeSantis, whoever it may be, at the moment, that train, the Democrat train, is crashing into the sidings. You have to admit that.
Yeah, I mean, there is clearly an absence of leadership, right? And I think part of the reason that there's an absence of leadership is because of this, swamp-like state of Washington. People who really are standing up and fighting for the rights of ordinary people, people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, people like Bernie Sanders, they are just destroyed and eviscerated by a media, by an entire establishment that exists to
they dish it out.
Exists to put us in a position where we have to choose between someone like Biden and someone like Trump.
Look, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, she dishes it out like anybody I've ever seen up there. So it's not a one-way ticket. Tomi, I want to move just quickly on, talk about leadership, to Elon Musk and his purchase of Twitter, which is causing a lot of headlines this week. One of the big questions he may face is about Twitter's apparent censorship of people like Donald Trump, where they allow Vladimir Putin, Taliban leaders, Supreme Leader of Iran to all have accounts, but they've actually banned a recently departed President of the United States. I find that inconsistency ridiculous. I'm not even sure Trump would want to go back, given he's got his own platform now. But what do you think about Musk? What do you think about Twitter? What do you think about what should be happening here?
Oh, I am cautiously optimistic. This is the shakeup that needed to happen. Elon Musk coming in to Twitter was like Donald Trump coming into the political sphere, and I think it's going to be fantastic. It remains to be seen if he really is going to restore free speech. But we're talking about censorship. It's easy to see those that have been deplatformed, but I want to go a little deeper. My request for Elon Musk is this. Let's expose all of the algorithms, all of the censorship, all of the shadow banning that has gone on, not just for political leaders like Donald Trump, but for all the average, ordinary, everyday Americans and people around the world, especially on the conservative side, who have been censored and shadow banned by those algorithms. I say expose it all so we know how the narrative has been messed with and we know how to correct it for the future.
Okay.
I say, Elon, that is your goal on day one of walking into that place. Let's expose Twitter.
Tommy, I agree with you. Words I didn't think I'd be saying this evening, but there we are. Miracles can happen. Great to talk to you. Grace, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.